Hello, mathematician friends. Today we're working on lesson 15A, and this is our first lesson with addition. And in this lesson, you're going to learn how to use expanded form to find the sum, which is an answer to an addition problem. So let me show you with letter A. If you remember from your younger grades, we learned that expanded form is when you take each digit and show it as its place value. So, for example, the number 231 is equal to 2 hundreds, or 200, plus 3 tens, which is 30, plus 1. Okay? Then we do the same thing for the other addend. So you're working with vocabulary here. Addend is a number you add together in an addition problem, and the sum is the answer to the addition problem. Okay? So I just blew up or expanded 231 into its pieces. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the other addend below it. So it's 346, which equals 3 hundreds, plus 4 tens, which is 40, plus 6. Then what I do is I draw a line under it. That means equals. And I can add up each of the place values together. So 200 and 300 are 500. 30 plus 40 is 70. And 1 plus 6 is 7. You'll notice I have a plus sign in between each of the different place value sections. We have to add those together to get the addend that we were adding in the first place. Okay? So now what I do is I take all these pieces down here and show what they equal. Well, 500 goes in the hundreds place. 7 tens is 70 or a 7 in the tens place, and a 7 is your ones, or a 7 in the ones place. So the answer is 577. Okay? So that's adding using expanded form. And this is a strategy that may make sense to you, may not, but we're going to practice using a couple different strategies, and then you'll be able to use the one that you prefer when we take the quiz. Okay? All right, so let's do letter B. That shows 543, so I'm going to break that into its pieces. It's 5 hundreds plus 4 tens plus 3 ones. Remember, when you're showing expanded form, if you look at this 5, the digits behind the 4 and the 3 are these 2 zeros. They're just replaced by the tens and the ones places. Likewise, this 4 in the tens place, there's really that 0 that you see here is behind that 3 ones. And the ones place doesn't have any zeros that we have to cover up. So the 3 is just the 3 ones. Okay, so now we have to take 241 and put that as its place value components. So 200 plus 40 plus 1 equals 500 plus 200 is 700, plus 40 plus 40 is 80, plus 3 plus 1 is 4. So we combine it back together, we have 784, and then we put our answer up here. Hopefully that makes sense. Let's try the next one. 481 is 400 plus 80 plus 1. Then we have 299, which is 200 plus 90 plus 9. Oh, and you're going to see some good stuff in this one. So 400 and 200 is 600. What is 80 plus 90? Well, I know 9 and 8 are 17, and it's 17 tens, though, so I have to put this 0 at the end to make it 170. Think about it. If you start at 90 and you count up 80, you're at 100, 110, 120, 130, 140, 150, 160, 170. Okay? And here we're also adding 1 plus 9. That's a 10. So now when we put all these together, it's different from letters A and B because we've got to bundle up the place values where they belong. So what I'm looking at here is I'm having to combine some things. You could do this a couple different ways. You could combine your hundreds and your tens, or your ones and your tens. For me, it's easiest to combine my ones and my tens. What's 170 plus 10? 180, right? So now I can add 600 plus 180. Well, 600 plus this 100 is 700, plus 80 more gives me 780. Okay? So don't lose track when your tens place becomes something in the hundreds place. You've got to include that and build that into your answer. Let's try the last one, 707 and 248. So I'm going to expand each one of these. 700 plus 0 tens. You've got to show your tens even if there are 0. Otherwise you're going to get goofed up. And then 7 ones. Then I'm adding 248. So that's 2 hundreds plus 4 tens plus 8. Now I can add that together. So 700 and 200 is 900. 0 plus 40 is 40. 7 plus 8 is 15. So again, I've got an interesting thing here. I've got 2 digits in my ones place. So I'm going to add those together. That's 55. And I'm going to add the 900 to that, which is 955. Okay, so a couple things in these last two problems were interesting. When we are adding our pieces and they create that hundreds digit in the tens place or the tens digit in the ones place, we've got to combine those and then add on the leftover piece at the end. Some might be able to do all that in their head too. That's fine, but you can't lose track of these digits. And in this one, we didn't have anything in the tens place. Maybe you'll find one that doesn't have anything in the ones place. You always have to put a 0 there to hold the place. So you're adding all your hundreds together, all your tens together, and your ones together. All right, let's go to problem number 2. Lana and Jen bought a small bag of popcorn and a pretzel at the movie theater. The pretzel weighed 63 grams more than the popcorn. Use a tape diagram to find the weight of the pretzel. Okay? So this is one of those where we can use 2 different tape diagrams. Okay? I've got the popcorn that I know. Just going to label it pop, period. That's 44 grams. The pretzel is 63 grams more. So it's the 44 grams plus, and I'm going to make it bigger, 63 grams. Okay, this is the pretzel. That's what this is telling you when it says 63 grams more. So to find the weight of the pretzel, we don't know what that is. We have to take the 44 and add it to the 63. So 44 plus 63. Well, let's show that in expanded form. 44 is 40 plus 4, and 63 is 60 plus 3. 40 plus 60, well, that's 100, plus, or 4 plus 3 is 7, so my answer is 107 grams. So I need to write a sentence that answers that. The pretzel weighs 107 grams. Okay? Same thing we were doing up at the top, just fewer digits, which is kind of nice, but we did have to do the tape diagram to show our work. And we need that answer sentence as well. Always show your work. All right, 2 more. Jason and Andrea combined their beakers of water. A beaker is kind of a container. It could look like this or like this. That's what scientists use. Jason says the total is 782 milliliters, but Andrea says it's 792 milliliters. Who is correct? Use any strategy to solve. Well, I'm just going to use expanded form since that's what we're practicing in this lesson. So I've got 475 plus 317. That's what we need to solve to figure out how much they are combined. That tells me to add. So 475 is equal to 400 plus 70 plus 5. 317 is 300 plus 10 plus 7. So 4 and 300 is 700, plus 70 and 10 is 80, plus 7 and 5, ooh, that's 12. I can see why one of them was not right. So now if I combine these two, because they have the same number of digits, I get 92. And if I add the 700 to that, I get 792. So 475 plus 317 equals 792. Andrea is correct. I always have to answer the question that they're answering. Who is correct? And here's my answer. Okay. What I'm guessing is that Jason, when he added it, forgot that he had this 10 in the ones place that he had to add in. All right, last one. It takes Greg 15 minutes to mow the front lawn. It takes him 17 more minutes to mow the back lawn than the front lawn. What is the total amount of time Greg spends mowing the lawns? Solve using a tape diagram. All right, so my smaller one is the 15 minutes. So I'm going to label this one front. And that's 15 minutes. Oops, not Ming. Min. Okay. Then we have back. Takes him 17 more minutes to mow the back. So I've got the 17 more here, but we still have the 15 minutes that it took in the front. Here's our more. So we have to figure out what the total is here. How many minutes for both? Okay. So the first thing, this is a two-step problem. We have to figure out how much time it took him to do the back. So we have to add 15 plus 17. All right. Well, I have two 10s. That's 20. But 7 and 5 is 12. So that's actually 32 minutes. So if the back is 32 minutes, now to get them both, I have to add 32 plus 15. So 30 and 10 is 40. 2 and 5 is 7. So it takes 47 minutes to mow both lawns. Okay? So be careful when you're doing your homework. You might have a problem that has two steps. Just think it through. What do they tell me? What do I need to find out? If I'm trying to figure out this whole thing, I have to figure out how much the backyard took before I can figure out how much they took all together. All right, so that is Lesson 15A. Go ahead and get started on your homework.